We will get started with the session, and it's going to be a nice relaxing one today just to get ourselves started with this series here. So let's get ourselves in a comfortable position and just start doing some nice deep breathing, going in through the nose, out through the mouth, and keep that breath going there. Nice slow deep breathing, and if you haven't already, you can close down your eyes and bring that focus inwards. Just nice, slow, deep breathing here. And as you're doing that, just notice how when you breathe in, the lungs inflate, the chest lifts up, and you sit up a little bit taller. And as you breathe out, the shoulders relax down and you curl forwards a little bit. And just notice how that breathing is affecting your body. As you're breathing in, as you're breathing out, nice, slow, relaxed. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the breathing going, but now we're in that much more relaxed space. We like to start with a bit of intention here with the sessions. And with this, we just first of all want to thank ourselves for being here today. Reminding ourselves that often turning up is the hardest point, but now we are here. We are going to be focused on the session at hand. So over the next hour together, we try and remain focused on whichever movement, breathing, or whatever it may be that we're doing. And if we do find our mind wandering and thinking about other things rather than focusing on what we're doing, we just tell ourselves it's okay. Our mind is naturally one to wander, but we just bring it back in line, bring the focus back, and focus on what we're doing at that point. Keep the breathing going, but sit up nice and tall. And as you breathe in, you can keep your eyes closed if you want to for this bit still. As you breathe in, I want you to sit up really tall. Almost imagine there's a piece of string pulling you through your head, the spine, all the way up, sitting you up nice and tall. And as you breathe out, you just relax down a little bit. And then just repeat through that, sitting up nice and tall, being pulled up as you breathe in, and relaxing down as you breathe out. Now, when you're ready to, let's open up our eyes. Keep the breathing going, but as you breathe in, we're going to shrug those shoulders up. And as we breathe out, we're going to relax them down. Breathe in, shrug up. Breathe out, relax down. And just link that with your own breath. Don't worry about doing it in time with me. Do it in time with however long it takes to breathe in, you squeeze up. However long it takes to breathe out, you relax down. And what we're doing here is essentially pumping the muscle by squeezing it and relaxing it. That's going to help send blood to the area, which is containing all the oxygen that we've just breathed in, and helping to relax these muscles off a little bit here. Nice work. Okay, we're going to do a similar thing now, but instead of going up and down with our shoulders, we're going to go forwards and then back. So breathe in as you squeeze those shoulder blades together back. Breathe out, push those shoulders forwards. You might be able to see the shoulders are coming back and forth as I'm breathing. So breathe out, push forwards. Breathe in, squeeze them behind you. Yeah, we're going to continue to warm up our shoulders now just by doing some nice circles round. Don't worry about which direction you're going because we'll change it in a bit anyway, but just nice, gentle circles round. Nice and easy. They don't have to be huge circles, we just want to get them moving, get those shoulders mobilized and get things flowing in that area. Nice, just easy movements going round. And let's change direction and go the opposite way. Good work. We're going to take that a little bit further now with the shoulder mobility. So we're going to continue getting those shoulders going around, but we're going to bring our hands roughly onto the shoulders. They don't need to be locked in place, but they can just be hovering around there. And then we're just going to bring the elbows around now. And again, don't worry about which direction you go because we will be changing in a bit. But we can do this both arms together, or if you need to, you can do it single arm. Or you can do one side for a couple of sides, and then you can swap over. Or you can do it alternating. I don't mind, whichever works for you. You can just do it however you need to do it, but yeah. I know for some of you that one side at a time is probably best for balance reasons. Some of you might like to just do both at the same time. Again, for balance reasons, but for different kind of balance. So just work with what you've got there. Getting them going around. Good work. And it doesn't matter if the circles are smaller or bigger. You just do what you can do on this. Good work. Let's change direction and go the opposite way now. And again, you can do this both together, one arm, alternating, whatever you want to do here. Nice work. Okay, let's bring them down. We're going to go into some breathing again, but we're going to use our arms at the same time to add a little bit of flow in. So as we breathe in now, we're going to bring the hands up to around about our chest. As we breathe out, we're just going to push them down. And just repeat through that with your own breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice, simple movements here, just bringing it up and down in line with our breath. If you can as well, try and think of it as one flowing movement rather than an up and a down. It's an up and down. So just nice flowing movements going back and forth between the two. Good. We're going to add a little bit extra in here now. So we're going to breathe in, bring the hands up. As you breathe out, you're going to push them forwards and then relax them down. So you breathe in, breathe out. And again, thinking of it as one flowing movement rather than two separate movements on this. Good. Instead of going forwards now, we're going to raise our hands up. Now I know for some of you raising the hands above the head isn't possible, but we'll do the best that we can on it. So I'll show you some adaptations as we go through. So we breathe in and then push up, out and around. Now obviously I've got good range of motion. I can raise my hands above my head. If you're able to do the same, that's fine. Just do good range of motion. If you're not able to do that, then we can just bring the hands up and then just around the best you can, even if it's a short range of motion. Or if you need to do this single arm instead, that's fine. If you can do both sides, but you need to do single arm, maybe do one on one side, and then you can switch over to the other side the second time. But just linking that breath in. Once you've sort of got the movement down, you can bring the breath back in, breathe in, and then breathe out and around. Good. Good work, everybody. It's good to see a wide range of abilities still doing the same movement in their own different ways, which is always good to see. If you don't know, I can see everybody that's got their cameras on. Not everybody else can see everybody, but I can see everybody. So I'm keeping an eye on you and giving the guidance as well as we go through this. And I must say, it's good to see a very full screen of lots of faces as well. Good work. Okay, we're going to continue that sort of theme of breathing and moving at the same time. This one, we're going to bring the hands around about our chest height, and as we breathe out, we're going to push forwards with one hand, and then as we breathe in, we're going to pull it in, and then we're going to swap over to the other side. So breathe out, breathe in, and again, try and think of one fluid movement rather than an out and an in. Just one long fluid movement. Breathe out as you push out, breathe in as you pull in, and just extend forwards the best you can, even if it's, I'll turn to the side to show you. So some of you are going to be absolutely fine being able to go all the way out, but if that means that you're falling forward because you're balanced, then we could just shorten it or if you're just not able to bring the hands out further, you just do the best you can. But what I want you to focus on is nice controlled movement. So as we bring the hands out, slow controlled movements. I'd rather it be controlled than further, because that means that we're linking the breath in, we're relaxing ourselves down. And that's good, that's what we want from this. Because when we focus on our breathing and our movement at the same time, it helps to put us in a bit of a state of calm and relaxation whilst being able to move still as well. So that helps with our mobility, helps with our stress levels, brings down blood pressure, and just helps us to overall relax. But when we're in that relaxed state, we can get a little bit extra range of motion, a little bit more mobility, and get more benefits from doing this. Good work. Okay, so if you're able to, we're going to reach forwards a bit more, lean into it, and then bring it back. I'm going to show our adaptation here. I'm already doing it myself anyway, so you can either reach forwards and then bring it back, or if you need to, you can rest on with your other arm just to help you reach forwards and then bring it back. So either using the core muscles to reach forwards and then bring back, or you can rest the arm, or if you've got a table in front of you or something, and it's mostly you've probably got a phone or a laptop on the table. I've got a desk here, but you can use that as well if you need to, just in case you need that extra balance to get back up again each time. Leaning forwards. I'll come to the side as well, so I'll show you from the side too. Good work, keep that going there. Good work. Okay, we're going to extend that a little bit further now. What we do, we reach forwards and lean forwards, but instead of coming straight back, we're going to go up and over on the way back and bring that hand behind us. Then we swap over to the other side, push forwards the best we can, then up and over behind. Again, doing the best you can with coming up and over. I'll give you some alternatives to make it suitable for some of you. So you're reaching forwards, and then if you can't come up and over, you can just sort of come up diagonally to the side, or even just to the side, but just drawing like the biggest sort of rainbow you can with your hand. Even if it's with a bent arm as well, that's fine. If that's what you need to do. There's no hard and fast rules here. We've all got different levels of ability and where we are on our fitness journey, whatever that may be. So this is all about just doing what you can do to the best of your ability. And from what I can see, you guys are doing that very well. So good job. And for those who don't have their camera on, that's not a problem either. You're still welcome here. You don't need to, I don't need to see your face. Good work. Just nice fluid movements. Reaching forwards, reaching up out and around. Good. Probably feel a little bit of a stretch as you do this, maybe in your back of your shoulders as you reach forwards, maybe in your chest as you come up and around. Good work. Let's bring it into the middle now. We're going to go on to our second variation of that. Instead of going out to the front, we're going to go out to the side. We'll start with our basic one again, so coming out and then in. So push out as you breathe out, breathe in as you pull in. You may need to adjust yourself in case you're hitting stuff. Breathe out as you push out, breathe in as you pull in. Good work. Good. We're going to extend that a little bit further. If you're able just to lean over, you can, but if you need to, you can use the opposite hand to hold on, if you're able to, and then pull it back in line, and then you reach over to the other side, and back again. Just going back and forth between the two by leaning over, and then over to the other side. And again, some of you will be able to use those core muscles to lean over and pull yourself back in line. Some of you may need to hold on. Again, just reaching the best you can, even if it sort of looks like you got a bent arm and you're not quite getting over. If that's what you can do, that's fine. You do that. Just don't do it so far that you stay over and you can't get back up again. Good work. Okay, we're going to extend that one a little bit further now as well. So we reach out to the side, and when we come back, we're going to come up and over and down to the opposite side. We like to say this is almost like putting on your seatbelt in a very elaborate way. So go up and over and then clipping it in. Good work, everybody. Just doing the best range of motion you can. Again, if it's not all the way up and over, it can come sort of to the front a bit more. It can come a smaller range of motion. Yeah, and let's bring it in. Let's do some shoulder rotations. Change direction. And let's let's go into a little bit of stretching now. So our shoulders should be nice and warm and mobile by now. We're going to do a little bit of stretching now they are in that position, because this is the perfect opportunity to do so. We're going to start with stretching our lats, which are the big muscles on our back. And to do that, we reach over to one side. We're going to hold that for 3 to 5 seconds. And then we come back and over to the other side. And just again, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds and go back and forth. The reason I say 3 to 5, because some of you may feel 3 seconds is enough to hold it, but some of you are like, you know what, I want to just stay there a little bit longer. So don't necessarily go with my timing, go with what feels right for you. And even if that's, you know, you want to stay for like 8 seconds, that's fine too. If that's what you want to do, just go back and forth between the two, bit of a stretch as you come over, and then back. Now, if you're unable to bring the hand up and over like this, again, we can bring it more forwards in front of us. If that's something you're not able to do, to bring the arm up and over. We can still get a good stretch even just by coming across with the arm in front there. So now for some of you that one side you'll be able to do really easily, and then the other side will be maybe look a little bit different, and that's also fine. If you've got different abilities on different sides of the body, we still move them to the best of their ability. Even if it looks different on both sides. Good, okay, our next stretch coming up, we're going to stretch our chest and our upper back a bit here. So to do this, we first open up our chest by bringing up our hands here, trying to really stretch out the front, and then we're going to take one hand and reach it forwards the best we can, push the shoulder forwards in the socket joint there, and then bring it back, and then open it up, and then push forwards with the other hand. I'm going to turn to the side to show you from there as well. So step one is bring the hands back. The more back the elbows and hands are here, the more stretch you'll get across the front. And then you're going to reach one hand forwards and then bring it back. And then the other hand forwards. When you push that hand forwards, try and push it forwards within that joint there as well. So that's where we're going to get that extra little bit of stretch in there, which is going to help us out. Okay, we're going to stretch some little muscles within our shoulder called the rotator cuff. Now, of these, if you have had any issues with rotator cuff, because it is quite common for wheelchair users, just do the best you can with this. If it causes you any pain or discomfort or that, just back off from the stretch a bit and just do it in a gentler range of motion. But the first version here, if you can do, then we'll stick with this, which is keep the elbows high, we'll rotate the hands up, and then rotate the hands down, and just go back and forth between that, and you'll feel a bit of a stretch. Now for some of you, keeping the arms up like this is going to be a little bit tricky, so if that is the case for you, you can keep the elbows down by the side and then rotate out like so. So if it's a little bit hard to hold the hands up, you can just bring them in and out just like so. It's very similar. Just go back and forth we feel the stretch, whether you're in this position or elbows out. Try and really pull those hands open, stretch it out. Nice work, everybody. And relax those hands down. We'll just do some shoulder rotations. Change direction. And then we are going to have ourselves a little hydration break here. So grab yourself a drink. If you don't have a drink, I do recommend bringing them to the sessions. Even though these ones are more relaxing, they are still going to benefit from having some hydration as we go through these. So for future, bring some water. Good. Alrighty, we're going to go on to some of our spinal mobility now, and we're going to start with our neck. This is something that I put into every one of these sessions that we do. It's one of, I think, the best things that we can do in terms of simple stuff that makes a big difference in our lives. For those who haven't been to the sessions before, there's some things that we do that in every session, but there's some stuff that we mix in and out different weeks. So it's not going to be the same absolutely every week, but there'll be elements of the same throughout the week, and some will come back. But try and keep it fresh, interesting, a bit different, but always beneficial. So when you come back next week, it'll be a little bit different, but know that some of the elements will come back. But this one is one that always stays with us, which is our neck mobility here. So to start with, nice and simple, we're just going to do some flexion and extension. So flexions where we look down, and extensions when we look up. And nice and simple, we're going to glide back and forth between the two there, just looking up and looking down. So just keep that moving, chin to chest, then looking up and just going back and forth between the two here, nice and gentle, easy movements. Just go through a comfortable range of motion. Don't try and push it too far. But the reason I feel like this is very beneficial for us who live a more seated lifestyle especially, but in our modern lives we tend to have our necks and our spine all sort of locked in a position for a long time. And by lots I mean we're probably staring at a screen, reading a book, whatever it may be, but we tend to stay in one position for a long time. And because of that, we're not taking our body through the range of motion it's designed to, and that's especially apparent in the spine and the neck area here. So what we're doing here is essentially taking it through its four range of motion. The first one here is the first two here is what we're doing, the flexion and the extension. But the next time you find yourself looking down, let's just hold that position for a bit there. Just let the chin drop down, let gravity take over a little bit. And you might feel a little bit of a stretch in the neck here, maybe not. It tends to be a position that people tend to look at their phones anyway. That's just before they're about to walk into me, when they're on their phones walking along. So you might not feel too much of a stretch, but just a little bit, maybe feels like a bit of an extension in that area. Good, let's ease out of it, looking up and down. And then the next time you find yourself looking up, let's hold that position. Now, for those who are familiar with these sessions, we tend to add in a little bit extra in terms of the stretch and that. We're just going to look up today and hold that position. We'll add our advancements in next week. And for those who are new, you'll understand next time. I don't want to overload you with all the information today. Just nice stretch by looking up. You might want to keep the mouth closed though. That tends to add a little bit more of a stretch. But in future sessions, we add a little bit extra in here just to increase that stretch. Let's ease out of it now, looking up and down again. And let's go into our third movement. So again, like the first two are added together, which is flexion, extension. We're going to go into rotation, looking one side, looking to the other, and back and forth between the two. So yeah, the vertebrae are able to do 4 different movements. Flexion, which is where we look down. Extensions when we look up. Rotation is side to side. And then we've got lateral flexion coming up. And what we do with these movements is just take it through those range of motion they're designed to, because there's probably quite large periods of the day that we're not doing that. And the next time you find yourself looking to the left, let's hold that position for a bit. And again, today will just be a nice gentle stretch. We will add more in next week, but keeping it simple today. And ease out of it, do a couple of lefts and rights. And then next time you find yourself looking to the right, let's hold that position there. And then ease out of it again. Let's just do a couple of lefts and rights before we move on. And let's go into the lateral flexion. That's where you bring one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other shoulder, and again back and forth between the two. Now this one is probably the one that feels tight the most. And for those who've been before, the tightness is essentially a muscle weakness. So a lot of people think that it's because it's shortened or whatever, but most of the time when it comes to tightness, that's the feeling of the muscle being worked when it's weak, and taking it through a long range of motion is where you feel the stretch and it feels good for a bit, and then it comes back because it hasn't been strengthened. And just doing this movement alone is going to help to strengthen that, which means we'll probably get a little bit less tension in that area, a little bit less of that feeling, and generally having a bit of a better muscle health within our neck. And that's because this one especially, because how often do we do this in our day-to-day life, really? Even this simple movement, it might not feel like it too much, but our head is quite heavy, so even just doing this is going to exercise those neck muscles a little bit whilst stretching them. That strength is going to make them more resilient. You're going to have less tightness. That can help with things like headaches. And just in general, I know from personal experience, when I do this and when I don't do it, I know it's a big difference. Good, okay, let's ease out of that. We're going to do the stretch first, actually, sorry. So we come down to, so next time you find your left ear on your left shoulder, let's hold that position. And again, we won't do the extra bit to stretch today, we will save that for next week. But just hold that there, you'll feel a bit of a stretch through that right side when the left ear is on the left shoulder. And then ease out of it. Go left and right a couple of times. And then when you find your right ear on your or near your right shoulder, you can hold it there. And this one you'll probably feel that there's more of a stretch than the other movements. And again, that's just because this movement is not one that we're probably doing on a regular basis. That's okay. And let's ease out of that. Again, left and right a couple of times. Good, okay, we're going to go through the rest of our spine. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see it from there. With this, we're going to do some flexion and extension. So much like we did looking up and down with our neck, we're going to do it with the rest of our spine now. To do that, we like to curl forwards, and I like to say like a shrimp or a prawn. So curling forwards. And then when we come back, we're going to arch back like a high jumper. Now, I'm going to show you some alternatives to how to do this if you haven't quite got the same range of motion. But go back and forth between curling forwards and arching back. Now, for me, personally, I like to use the frame of my wheelchair just to help pull me through. And then I sort of push on the back of my legs to curl forwards. Some of you are going to struggle to do that, so what we do instead, put the hands on the lap, curl forwards from there, and then as we come back, we're going to use the backrest instead to arch back, but make sure that we're not tipping back as you do so, because you're pushing back on the back of the chair. So if you're able to pull yourself through using your hands, that's great. Just go back and forth between the two, but if not, we can put hands on the lap and use those there, so curling forwards, and then arching back using the backrest, or not, depending on what you can do. And with this, it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. Just a small amount goes a long way, and that goes with all of these movements in the spine. A small amount goes a long way. Just mobilizing it is like 80-90% of the benefit we're going to get from it. The extra range of motion is only a small added benefit. So focus on just moving it rather than how far you can get it. And that's also why I like, because a lot of people in the yoga world call this like a cat cow, or there's other names for it as well in Indian that I can't pronounce. But in terms of, I like to say we're curling forwards like a shrimp, which is a bit more, I think, visual. We all know what a shrimp's like, curling forwards. And then as you arch back, we all kind of know what a high jumper does, trying to go over a pole, and that's what we're trying to simulate as well. So go back and forth between the two. Good, okay. We're going to go into our rotation now. We won't do stretches on that one, we're just going to go through that. So rotation, we just simply rotate around one side, around to the other. As you might be able to see, I'm using my hands to assist with turning myself. You can do the same. But I will say, don't try and really force yourself around. Just go nice, gentle range of motion, especially if you can't feel in this area. Go to where you feel the resistance, stop, and then go back around again. If you have any metal work in your spine as well, this tends to be the one that causes more aggravation, let's say it that way. So be gentle if you do have anything there that may cause any discomfort. But I do trust with you guys, you are the experts in what you can and can't do, what feels right, what feels don't right. So please listen to your body. Good, let's go into the lateral flexion now. So much like bringing the head down to one side and the other, we're going to bring our body down, one side and the other. And I'm using the opposite hand to hold on here as I come down to one side and the other side. One thing to note here, as you're doing it, try not to lean forwards, because otherwise we're getting more flexion. We want the lateral flexion. So I like to imagine almost that you've got a pane of glass in front of you and behind you, and you're kind of like shimmying between the two there. Imagine you've like dropped a pen on the floor or something, you've got to like shuffle down, you've got to grab that, and then you bring it back up. Oh no, you dropped it to the other side. Let's go over to that one. Oh no, back over to the other side. There you go. And you don't have to go all the way to the floor either on this. If you can only go a short range of motion, that's also fine. We've established just long ago I've got freakishly long arms, so it's very easy for me to get to the floor. Good. And we're going to finish off these spinal movements just with one that kind of combines some of them together, which is coming round in a whirlpool. Just come around. And this is a bit of flexion, bit of extension, bit of lateral flexion, all rolled into one. Let's change direction. Let's ease it off there. Good work. Okay. If you want to have some more hydration here, this is a good opportunity to. We're going to go into our mindfulness part of the session now, where we bring it down a little bit. So I'm just going to grab a drink, and then I'll come back and explain what we're doing. Okay, so for this last bit here, we are going to do mindfulness exercise, and all I need you to do is to follow along with what I say, but it's all going to be within our mind. So whenever you're ready to, let's do some nice deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, And some point over the next couple of breaths, close the eyes down and bring that focus inwards and bring that calm over yourself here. Let's just bring down the heart rate, bring down some of that small amounts of excitement within our nervous system, just calming it down. Good, okay. Keep the breathing going. I'm just going to explain what we're going to be doing, and then we'll be doing it all together, and I'll guide you through this every step of the way. So essentially what we're going to do is something called a body scan. That's where we start from the top of our head and go to the tip of our toes. But as we do so, we're going to check in on each part of our body and just see how it feels. Now, with this, we're not trying to fix anything in the moment. We're just trying to listen to our body, listen to what it's telling us, and just be there with open ears as such with this. Now, the reason we do this is because often with our bodies and our lives and that, we get so distracted either by, we may have, let's say we've got a wrist issue. The wrist issue is causing you, like, all your focus is on that, and you don't listen to the rest of your body because that's almost screaming at you all the time. So what we do in this is to listen to every part of the body individually. Also with our day-to-day lives, there's so much distractions going on, so many things to stop us from listening to our own body. So this is just an opportunity just to take 5 minutes or so just to listen on each part of our body. Now, as we go through each part, feel free to move it, feel free to touch it, feel free to just put the focus and energy there. Now, if you're like me, there will be some areas that you can't feel, and that's okay. Just put the focus, put the energy down there, and just see what comes back. Even if it just feels okay, that's meaning that we're getting a good baseline of how it normally feels. So don't worry if it's all good or whatever it is. We're just going to focus on it and see how it feels. If there is any areas that are feeling discomfort or whatever, and it's not nice to focus on it, just bring the focus away. Focus on something else instead if that's for you. All right, let's get on with it then. So first of all, let's bring up the focus right to the top of our head and to the crown area here, and just focusing on there and seeing how it feels. Now, it's not an area that's particularly sensitive on the top of our head, so we're going to move down now into our forehead and our eyes and that sort of area. We can give this a wiggle. We can just put the focus there. We can just see how it feels. And this is a good indication here of how well rested you are, for example. So if the eyes are feeling tired in this position, or like tight even, maybe there's too much watching of a screen, maybe there's not enough sleep or rest, or maybe you haven't been outside enough, or whatever it may be. We're just getting a good indication of how it feels in this moment right now. Let's bring it down now through our cheeks and our mouth and our jaw. And again, we can wiggle it a lot. So for me, the mouth and the jaw area is usually a little bit tired by the end of the session. I've been talking for an hour, but that's good because I know that that's the case. If I did this not when I've been talking, it feels a little bit looser and a bit less tired. We're going to go around the back now into our neck. And again, you can move our necks, see how it feels. And generally, because we've done the movement today, it should feel quite loose, quite mobile, but it might be also feeling maybe a little bit tired or a little bit stretched. And that's fine because that's what we've done to it. Let's move down now to where the neck meets the torso. I'm going to go out towards the shoulders. And then we can give our shoulders a wiggle. And again, we did a lot of movement here, so maybe feeling quite loose and mobile, but also feeling maybe a little bit tired if you're not used to this movement. We're just going to see how it is. Let's go down now through our arms into our elbow joints, and we can flex and extend at the biceps, see how it feels. If you're a manual wheelchair user, this may be an area that feels maybe a little bit achy or tired, especially through those forearms. As we go down now into our wrists, and again we can give our wrists a wiggle, give them some rotation, See how they feel as we go down now through our hands and our fingers. And essentially what we're doing, we're checking in all the major areas, all the joints, and seeing how things feel. Let's bring the focus all the way back up our arms, going into our spine. Start from the top and imagine each vertebrae, like you see on those skeletons in a classroom. Just sort of imagine that in your mind and sort of wiggle your way downwards, seeing how it feels as you go all the way down to the hips. And this is an area, like I mentioned in the beginning, where I can't feel personally, but I'm going to send the focus and intention down there and see what comes back to me. And I can give myself a wiggle and see if there's any resistance as I do that. Bringing it down now through our upper legs into our knees. For this, I like to just grab my knees and wiggle them a bit. See if that helps to get an understanding of how they feel. Down through our lower legs into our ankles, our feet, and our toes. Right, keep the focus right down there at the tip of the toes. Together we'll do 3 deep breaths, but each time I want you to imagine there's a bright white light going to fill your body from the tip of your toes right the way to the top of your head. As you breathe out, it'll dissipate, and we'll do that 2 more times, make 3 total. So all together, are you ready? So start to breathe in, breathe out. And again, breathe in, breathe out. One more, breathe in, breathe out. Return the breathing to normal. Relax there, open up the eyes as we bring this session to a close there.